The prophet Saint Elijah, the fiery saint, we have his feast day, his name day tomorrow, July 20th annually, dedicated to the memory of the writer's grandfather. The fiery ascent of the prophet Elijah to the heavens. The condition of humanity in our times is as described by the prophet David, where he says, the foolish person said in his heart, God does not exist. The lawless have become and steal and do injustice. Someone to do good, even if they look for it, he will not find it. From the heavens the Lord told the earth to bow down, one to find thinking or to ask for it. All had gone astray and had become wicked. No one did good. One was not left. Psalms 13, 1-3. And no one has read the prophecies of our saints. If he knows a little about the history and mythologies of the peoples of the earth, he understands. The thing reached the impenetrable point, and it rotted. Fate, great pain comes. The circle closes with catharsis. We are in the middle of nowhere, and the weight, for those who feel it, is excruciating. But it is Christ and our Holy Mother and our good saints who are hope and consolation and breath. The day after tomorrow, that is tomorrow, is this giant of our faith, the Holy Prophet Elijah, is his feast day. We must honor him and beg him to help us. Prophet Elijah is very honored by Christian Orthodox. Wherever you go, you will see his chapels on top of the mountains, high up, from the small to the big. And indeed, just as we have him very high in our consciousness, so we also build his chapels high on the tops of our mountains. This fiery saint, who is indeed the incarnate angel of the prophets, the crucifixion, the second forerunner of Christ's presence, Saint Elijah the Glorious, as we sing his hymn, absolutely deserves it. But why the prophet Elijah considered so great in many ways and also unique? There are many reasons. I will single out just a few that I think are very special. One of them is that the prophet Elijah was taken up bodily without knowing death. In other words, God took him to himself without dying. He will, of course, experience death in the future and even martyrdom, as he will be one of the two prophets that God will send in the last years of the apocalypse to support the faithful and control the Antichrist. The beast will kill them, and the defiled, unrepentant, and hellish people of the time, those who receive the mark of the beast, will rejoice, as they will see the unburied bodies of the two martyrs exposed for 3.5 days in Jerusalem Square. Revelation 11:3-12. But the devil who denies God, who has no substance because he does not stand in the being of God, kills the two witnesses through the beast that comes out of the abyss and is his instrument. And while he seems to be conquering and ruling, and the people revealed by the martyr's slaying rejoice and exchange gifts, the breath of God gives life to the martyrs, and hearing the call of God, they ascend into heaven in a cloud, as he was taken up and Christ in the heavens. Thus the prophet Elijah becomes a completely special case of a divine man who physically runs through the centuries before, during, and after the incarnation of Christ and coming to Christ to earth. During the time of the Old Testament, he converses with and meets the Lord as a voice of the fine wind on Mount Horeb, 3 Kings 19:11-12. In the New Testament, he converses with our Lord God in the company of Moses during the transfiguration of Mount Tabor, Matthew 17:3. And in the last years, those of the apocalypse, he will fight the Antichrist, preach and work miracles for 1,260 days, supporting those who remain faithful to Christ. Finally, he will testify and be taken up to heaven. Revelation 11:3-12. Think, of course, how much agony it is to wait for one's death, and especially martyrdom. Perhaps waiting for martyrdom is a greater torture than martyrdom and death itself. In this regard, the prophet Elijah, who waits centuries to testify, may be the greatest witness. So our good God chooses him for such a difficult mission, because he possesses steely faith and indomitable courage. He has incomparable bravery, patience, and endurance. Here is why. This saint stands out among the others, and with all that he was human, he seems like some supernatural and mysterious creature who comes and returns to the world. It has, of course, another characteristic of the very important Holy Fathers. It is the control of the Antichrist worldly power. Many examples. The greatest saint, St. John the Forerunner, for example, St. John the Baptist, for example, checked the authorities, which imprisoned him and killed him for it. The prophet Elijah did not only check King Ahab and Jezebel, he is about to control the personification of the father of all inhuman rulers of the world through the ages, that is, the devil and the Antichrist. As therefore, as before, as after, as always, so now lay your hand, O Saint Elijah. Laws of David, literal translation, and this is translated for you from a Greek article. And may we have the help of the saints and God's angels and God, the triune God himself. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.